Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Well, finally got the phone call to go back to work, so I'll be going to work Monday. I'm gonna get the oil changed in the rig and basically just get it ready to go for the first part of the year. I always run either AMSOIL or Schaefer's oil, full synthetic obviously, and Napa Gold filters. Change everything every 5,000 miles. Fuel filters I changed the last oil change. I changed those every 15,000, so they're still good, but I got an oil leak that I need to fix. Don't know if you'll be able to see, but so this is my oil pressure sensor for my aftermarket oil pressure gauge that I have in the truck. You can see on a couple other videos, but that's what I'll be working on. I'll set you up and we'll take a look. Get this out of the way. All right, so here you can kind of see the oil pressure sensor I have for my gauge. It's on top of the filter housing. I got my pack brake oil filter relocation kit. That's been awesome. That's worked great. But I think what the problem is, there's not enough room in between the housing and this line here to put like a street 90 or something in there. So what happens is, I think this nipple's too long and the vibration from the engine gets vibrating so much, and I think it actually cracks. I've had to take that nipple out because it broke off flush with those threads. So I think it ends up cracking that nipple. So let me show you what I have to replace it to hopefully not have to work on it again. There it is. I got a stainless hose with 1/8 inch pipe thread on the bottom to hopefully, I'm going to try to just run that up and just zip tie this out of the way up here or whatever, just to keep from having something, you know, with so much leverage vibrating on top of that housing. So let me get all that apart and we'll verify if that was the problem or not. I'd like to be able to just plug this and not have to worry about it, but first time I get low oil pressure warning on the dash, I'll regret taking it all apart, because it'll happen again, I'm sure. The way my luck's been with this truck. Okay, well, good deal. I was planning on getting easy outs and everything else. I don't know why that started leaking, but this is the second time this has happened, so there's not going to be a third. Let me get rid of this stuff and get some tape and dope for the hose. In case anybody's wondering, there is a correct way to wrap a fitting with Teflon tape. Always go with the threads. So you go around the fitting clockwise. Otherwise, when you put your other fitting on, if you go the other way, as you tighten it, it's just going to push that thread tape off. Okay, and it started. Perfect. All right, that's probably too tight, so perfect. Next we'll connect this. So this is a JIC fitting or flare fitting. You don't tape or dope any of that. The flared section of the fitting is what makes the seal, not the threads. Unlike pipe thread is tapered. That's what actually creates the seal. Teflon tape and pipe dope or thread sealant or whatever you want to call it, that is simply to lubricate the connection so you can get it tighter, since the taper of the threads is what actually makes the seal. Okay. Air filter I'll change after I go get one from town. I usually keep a couple in the cabinet over there, but I have like, I don't know, 8 or 10 more filters and gallons of oil because I use the same stuff in my welding machine. But the filter is, I always buy the filters on like the Napa deal days or whatever they call them. I always buy like half a dozen or more whenever they have their filter sale going on. So I got plenty of filters for the truck, the weld machine, fuel filters, lawn mowers, whatever. Okay, there's that. Okay, got the new one. I'd ordered this a while ago. I don't necessarily know that I needed to replace it, but I think it's like $8 or $10 or something. I kept the old one, but I hate doing things twice, so it's apart right now, so it's getting replaced. Tape this up. How's that look over on that side? Is it in a bind? Nope, looks good. Okay, I like that. And we'll do one right here, just so it's not rubbing around and rubbing a hole in that hose. Okay. Now someone can rip their arm open when they reach across that. That'll be me. Okay. Well, that's a lot better than it was. We'll see how that rides like that for a while. Start seeing that being a problem. I may change that, but there's space. There's, I'd say, 1/4 inch in between that cap of that banjo fitting and that. So, okay. Well, hopefully that's solved. We'll drain the oil and change filter. I told you guys about that oil filter relocation kit. Well, that's where it's at. It routes it down from underneath the oil filter housing, around the frame, and right in front of your wheel well. Now, everybody always said, like, as soon as I put that on, oh, as soon as you get something into the front of your truck, it's gonna hit your oil filter and leak oil everywhere. I've smashed so much stuff with the front of this truck, I'm not worried about that anymore. I used to be, I'm not anymore. This is well worth the small little risk of that potentially happening. Which, like I said, I've killed so many animals with the front of this truck. We're not going to have a problem. Here's another good thing I installed when I first bought the truck. When I did my first oil change at 42 miles, put one of these Fumoto valves or whatever they call them in. So I usually take this truck to there's a local Valvoline quick lube place. They charge me $25. I bring them the oil, the filters, and everything, and they change it and grease everything, go through it all for $25. Well, that's worth every penny to me because I'm in and out of there in 20 minutes. But I had to fix that oil leak. I just wanted to get all that taken care of here before I start work next week. So we'll let that drain now. Okay, I've gotten some questions about gooseneck ball placement and my fifth wheel hitch for my camper. This ball is behind my axle, I'd say 10 or 12 inches, I'd say. The back axle of my truck is right here underneath this cooler. There's so much weight on the front side of that axle that without just being ridiculous with loading a gooseneck trailer, I'm not going to get enough tongue weight on this gooseneck ball to make it pull any worse than any other truck that would have a gooseneck hook to it. Like I said, there's so much weight in front of the axle that the gooseneck ball being that far behind the axle is negligible. Secondly, I get a bunch of questions about my fifth wheel hitch. So that's what these 4 bolts are for. I pull I think it's 2017 Keystone Hideout, which is about 10,000 pounds with about 2,000 pounds of tongue weight. So that's nothing. I have 1,500 pound welding machine plus bottles, leads, all that stuff in front of the axle again. Plus, there's just so much weight in front of the axle that having the hitch on the back side of the bed is non-issue. I pulled this camper 15 hours north to North Dakota and I had 0 issues at all. And then back, obviously. But again, it looks worse than it is because it's at the very back of this bed. Well, remember in one of my previous videos, I cut like 10 inches off of this truck. So the actual factory bed is about here plus a bumper. So, I mean, your actual pickup bed is, this far back. So it's not as bad as it looks. It just, my bed's so short, it looks like it's at the very back. But I actually ended up building a hitch bracket for it. I run a Kurt brand hitch. I just pull these bolts out. I got nuts welded to the bottom of the frame for my bed. And I just pull them 4 bolts out. It's all 1/2 inch thick angle. And those sit right there. Got everything powder coated to match the truck. And that just sits there. And again, I've had 0 issues with it and the thing pulls great. I run one of those nylon discs so I don't have to have grease and crap on my fifth wheel. But other than that, that's the hitch setup. I'm just explaining all this while that oil's draining. But other than that, those were a couple of my biggest questions I had from a couple other videos I had. So I have the valve closed on my oil pan, new filter on, ready to start topping it off. So there she is. We'll fire it up, check for leaks, get everything cleaned up, and she'll be ready to go to work. Right on the money. Perfect. That's it. Okay, guys. Well, there it is. Got it all done. We're ready to go to work now. Kids should be coming home from school pretty soon, and better get the truck out of here so they can play basketball. That's all I ever want to do after school, so can't complain about that. All right, until next one, thanks for watching. And again, guys, thanks again for all the subs. And if you haven't subbed, which about 3% of the people watching my videos right now, just 3%, are subscribers. So it doesn't cost you guys a single thing, and it really helps me out if you guys would just like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'd appreciate it. Thanks a lot, and have a good one.